Hello everyone and welcome back here to my YouTube channel. If you are new here, my name is Joelle and I am a full-time reseller on several platforms, but Poshmark is my main one. And if you are a returning subscriber, hello. It has been so long since I posted a video here on YouTube, so thank you so much for still being loyal to my YouTube channel. And I am now officially back on YouTube with my regular weekly videos. So for today's video, we are going to talk about how to conquer summer slowdown in 2024. And before we get into the video, I want to just have a little announcement for you all. So if you don't want to hear my life updates, please feel free to skip forward. I will not be offended, but I'm just gonna take the next minute or so to give you all a big life update of mine, and that is I am pregnant with my first baby boy. My fiance and I, we are 26 weeks along, which seems crazy to say. This pregnancy has been flying by, especially in the second trimester. It has been a really great and healthy pregnancy so far, which we are very blessed to have, and so now we are kind of just coasting through the second trimester. My baby has been kicking and growing like crazy, and so I just can't wait to meet our little one so soon. I'll make sure to keep you all updated on here on the rest of this pregnancy, and then of course when our little baby boy arrives, and so we're just so excited. He is going to be the best addition to our little family. So if any of you resellers out there are parents and have kind of navigated what it's like to be especially a full-time reseller and a new parent, please let me know any advice that you have. I am currently working on updating my business model to go from my old method of being more of a high volume seller, and now I'm working on raising my average sales price, which has been a huge success so far, but we'll get more into that in my next What Sold video. So thank you all for listening to this little update. I'm so glad that I get to share this with the YouTube and the reseller community. And now let's get into the video. So I have a few tips and tricks to talk about conquering summer slowdown, and we're just gonna get right into it. I got all my notes right here. So first up on how to conquer summer slowdown. Focus on sell-through rate, not just sold comps. Now, in my older videos, I've talked a little bit about this. I have still been practicing looking at sell-through rate more than just sold comps, and I have found that my items have been selling a lot quicker because you are basically buying things that people are actively looking for, and the proof is in the pudding. All you have to do is look on eBay. I will attach a screen recording so that you all can get an idea of what it looks like if you haven't done this before, but you can basically filter to sold listings on the item that you are searching for, whether it is something generic like a certain brand or if it is an actual style name, and you can see how many sold listings there are and how many active listings there are within the past 3 months. I like to source things that have a 40 to 50% sell-through rate or obviously better. And if it has more than 100% sell-through rate, which means that there have been more sold than listed items, then it's a no-brainer, and I might even pay up for that item because I can be very confident that the item will sell. Now, the only exception that I have to this rule is if it is a reliable brand that I have had success selling in the past, and especially if it's a high dollar item that I didn't pay a lot for. These are pieces that if I don't have a lot invested into it and I know that the reward can be great, I'm gonna hold out and I'm gonna be okay if those items are listed a little bit longer than what I usually try to list them for. So basically, instead of just finding those typical bread and butter items that are going to sell eventually, try and look more into items that are actively selling. So it might just mean switching up a couple of the brands that you pick up or picking up a little bit more specific pieces, but it can definitely be done, especially if you have a lot of places to source. Next up, this kind of goes hand in hand with checking sell-through rate, and it is to keep up with the trends, especially these upcoming spring and summer trends. So basically, like I said earlier, buy what people are buying. Here, if you are picking up a trend, you have a much better chance of selling that rather than just your everyday bread and butter item that will still probably sell. I truly believe that there is a buyer out there for everything, but during summer slowdown, you just might not be getting as much traction to your closet because people are doing whatever. They're on vacation, they're working more, they're in summer school. They're just not thinking about shopping as much as they would during the rest of the year. Basically, bread and butter is still sellable. It just might not be as in demand over the summer because you won't have as many eyes on those listings. So make sure to look at those spring and summer fashion trends because these are going to be things that people are seeing on social media, in magazines, on storefronts, pretty much anywhere they go to look at what is trending in the fashion world. So make sure to keep up with those trends, buy what people are buying, and hopefully you will just see summer slowdown become more and more irrelevant in your closet. Now, this next tip goes for your current listings, and that is to check your pricing and then further proofread those current listings. Maybe it's summer slowdown, but if your items haven't been selling within the past few months, there might be something else wrong, and that is completely fine. One thing I have noticed in my years of being a reseller is that trends and prices always seem to change, especially in the resale market. So there are certain brands that I used to pick up or that I used to sell for a lot more that just don't sell for as much these days. So I kind of tend to avoid sourcing them. So just make sure to audit your shop frequently, especially during these summer months, because there could be some little tweaks here and there that you can make that could make all the difference in the world and lead to a potential sale. So I put that you should first check pricing because that seems to change a lot in the secondhand world, especially with these big retailers starting to have their own secondhand markets within their shops. And so you just see a lot of brands kind of falling off the resale market and seeing those resale prices tend to go down. So make sure to just look at your items. Maybe that super expensive piece just doesn't sell as well anymore. However, if your pricing does reflect similar listings and sold comps, then there might be another culprit as to why your piece isn't selling. So then I would go check your cover photo, your title, description, see if there is anything that you can add or eliminate, or even if there was a mistake in that listing. And again, that could make all the difference in the world, and that could lead to a sale. So long story short, it might not just be summer slowdown. There might be something that a buyer is looking for that is missing in your listing. So let this be your sign to take the time and look through those listings, proofread them, amplify them, do whatever you need to do to make sure that you get more eyes on those listings. My next tip to conquer summer slowdown in 2024 also goes with your current listings, and that is to be more lenient with offers. Now, this could be with offers that you are sending out or with offers that you are receiving from potential buyers. So basically, humble yourself. This might mean accepting more offers than you usually would. Maybe instead of your typical counter offer, just go ahead and accept that offer. For me, if there are pieces that don't seem to be selling, which I will obviously give it a few months before determining if they are still listing or not, but I will accept offers that are around 40 to 50% or less. And of course, this depends on the piece and how much I paid for it, and especially with me changing my business model to higher dollar items. So that might not apply anymore, but if you do source really low, then I would recommend just being a little more lenient over the summer. That is something that definitely helped me out this past summer of 2023. I started accepting more offers and I started sending out a little bit steeper offers. And I found that those summer months weren't very slow compared to the previous year. So for example, with the help of Posh Sidekick, and of course, if you wanna get signed up or do a free trial with no credit card required, I do have a code below that you can use to get signed up for this amazing automation tool. I won't get too into it for this video because I have an entire video out there about why you should choose Posh Sidekick as your automation service, but again, I got that link below if you do want to try it out. It has helped my business grow tremendously, so I would 100% recommend it. But Posh Sidekick does send out 20% offers plus discounted shipping to all of my new likers. So over the summer, if I notice that sales are slow, or maybe it's a weekend or a holiday, I will adjust those offers to likers and send out maybe a 25, 30, maybe even 35% offer to those additional new likers. So this can increase your chance of getting a quick sale to a new liker. Sometimes people are looking for a pretty decent offer and they might be afraid to send an offer themselves. I know for me, I don't like sending offers on Poshmark. I would much rather just accept someone's initial offer. So that could be the difference, and that could definitely make a sale. And for you, all you are doing is docking maybe 5, 10, 15% from what you would expect to sell at 20% off. It's kind of a trade-off. I know that you might not make as much on an item that you had hoped for, but it's much better to maybe make a couple of smaller sales rather than to hold out on these items and not be making any sales at all, especially for an entire summer season. All right, my next tip on conquering summer slowdown is to utilize buy-sell trade stores. Talked about this a lot on some of my previous videos, and I think on my video last summer about conquering summer slowdown. And I can tell you, I have been selling at these stores for a couple of years, and it has made all the difference in the world with bringing in steady income, especially when your sales are slow. So in my opinion, going to buy sell trade stores and maybe getting a couple of bucks per item is a lot easier than selling somewhere like Whatnot or Poshmark doing live selling, or even with taking lowball offers, because there's not as much effort that goes into it. And this is because you get to eliminate packaging up those items and shipping them out, especially if you're making a high volume amount of sales. So obviously it depends on the item, but I have found that you can get anywhere between a couple of bucks all the way up to $15 per item, obviously depending on what you sell. I work at a buy sell trade store myself, and they give $15 and some change for Lululemon leggings, for example. So for me, Lululemon is one of those brands that just doesn't sell for as much. I will still sell something like a jacket, some men's clothing, but Lululemon leggings have just fallen off on my resale market. So if I find Lululemon leggings for cheap, I would much rather take those to my buy sell trade store, knowing that it's one of their best selling brands, and so they're almost always going to take these leggings, and I can end up maybe doubling or tripling my money. Now I know that buy sell trade stores like Plato's Closet get a bad rep, and I can see why, because they can be very inconsistent, and that is something that I have found myself working in the buy sell trade industry, is that inconsistency is a huge part of the business, unfortunately. So my biggest recommendation is get to know the store that you're selling at, maybe be familiar with the employees, and actually ask them what they're looking for. Get down to the nitty-gritty. Don't just let them get away with some very vague answer as to why they don't accept your items. Make sure to ask them what specific brands, sizes, and even categories that they are currently looking for, because that is something that changes very frequently, and they don't seem to do the best job at telling people that. And so people just bring a bunch of items in, not knowing exactly what they're going to take. So if you do get familiar enough with these stores, I promise you it will get a lot easier to sell there. And I think that if you do source low, that it can be a huge part of your reseller business and a really good steady income during these summer slowdown months. All right, we're on to the last tip on how to conquer summer slowdown. This is one that I feel like is preached a lot, but I just want to reiterate it, and that is to cross list. Take the time during these summer months to maybe try out a new platform. For me, Curtsy is one that I have not really dived very deep into, and I've wanted to try to get more active on there. I know it's not a huge market, but a really cool feature that they have added within, I want to say, the past 6 months or so, is that you can actually import your Poshmark listings automatically onto Curtsy. There's a few tweaks to the shipping that you do need to make, so you have to go into your listing and edit it, but I have found, especially as someone who has consolidated a lot of her listings, that as a smaller seller with higher dollar items, Curtsy can be a really easy platform to cross list to, because you hardly have to do any work. But I would recommend trying out any new platform that you can think of, because more cross-listing platforms means more eyes on your listings. Me personally, I use crosslisting.com as my current cross-lister. It is with Posh Sidekick, and I know they have a big merge that is coming soon. I don't have a lot to say about cross-listing so far. There's not a lot of stuff that I don't like about the app. I've really enjoyed cross-listing to eBay and Mercari so far, and so I've tried out Vendu, One Shop, Flip, and now cross-listing, and so far I don't have a lot of complaints about cross-listing, and so I would recommend just trying out free trials for all of them, see what works for you, and eventually you will find a very reliable cross-listing tool. So if you do want to try out my reliable cross-listing tool, I also have that link below if you want to try out a free trial. I believe, since it's also Posh Sidekick's platform, that you don't have to have a credit card on file, so huge perk there. You can get started, try it out, see if you like it, and of course sign up for a subscription if you do. All right, we have now gone over all of my tips on how to conquer summer slowdown in 2024. Of course, if you found anything of value in this video, I hope that you consider subscribing to my YouTube channel. Like I said, I am back with frequent videos, and so you can rest assured if you do subscribe, you will get plenty of reseller content. So thank you guys so much for just listening to this video, gathering up all this information, and of course listening to my big life update that we're having a baby boy. And I'm very excited to just keep updating you guys with that and continue producing this reseller content for you all. So now that we're at the end of this video, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you for the next video.